Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Life is Feudal Euron. This is the game that built my channel, and I've decided to have a little walk back and do a little bit of nostalgia playing. And at the moment, we're playing just a single player. This is not a server, there's no other players in here. I am simply playing this by myself, and I've done my usual little tweaks to this game like I did all those years ago. So, today, I'm just going to be winging this. I'm going to see if I can remember everything I know about this game, everything that I can find, all the ore locations. I've already found a little location that, I'm not going to lie, every time I play this game, I always seem to come back to it. Is this little location right here. Now, for everybody who doesn't know what this game is, this is a very old game. This game no longer has any development behind it. There is a modding community. There are a handful of players, and when I say a handful of players, there's probably in excess of about 8 or 900 players that still play Life is Feudal Euron. They play the Basil mod as well as the other modded servers that are available in the master server list. I don't have Basil mod, and I'm not planning to play any sort of multiplayer engagement. I'm just playing this for the sake of playing it. I'm just playing this because I want to have a good time again. I miss this game. Trust me. I miss Life is Feudal Euron. I miss the original Life is Feudal MMO on Avalon and then in Goldenland. The current MMO, guys who run Life is Feudal now in the MMO, that's all I'm going to say on it. Just But I'm glad I still have this game. I'm glad this game is still operating. I'm glad that this game's still kind of functional. Because there's no development behind it, a lot of the stuff that you will see is essentially just the same as it was a couple of years ago. But I'm wanting to play it. So here we go. Playing some games, and I've got my character here. This is my character. He's very simple. He's bald, and he looks very moody. He looks like he's just woken up. Now, I've just made myself some basic, I say basic stuff, but I've essentially just made my character some, primitive boots, essentially. And I've already sustained a wound from a wolf that attacked me on the way here. And let's just run through everything for anybody who doesn't know anything about this game. So you've got 3 different categories of skills. So you've got your crafting skills, you've got your military skills, and you've got your minor skills. Minor skills are not really that important unless you're playing in multiplayer, especially when it comes to piety and your alignment. Everything else you don't really have to care about. Mentoring's kind of important. Kind of. Horseback riding's kind of important, but it's also not important because you can do everything at level 0, as you can quite clearly see. You can get on, get off, hide, leave the horse, get on the horse, or get the horse, or release the horse. When it comes to combat skills, it's all in trees, essentially. So you've got the cavalry tree, which basically allows you to become a lancer. You have the militia tree, which allows you to become a spearman / polearm guard. So you can start using things like the poleaxe, the gisarme. You can start using the royal armors and such. You've got the footman tree, which is essentially just a sword and shield, or axe and shield, or mace and shield. You can see that there's a variety of different axes and shields here. You can go to level 100. You can do a trick move. Then you go into swordsman, and you've got all your swords and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. It basically tells you what you can unlock and what you can use throughout the game. Get to 100, then you get to Huskarl, which means you can start using the heavy armors, and then subsequently the royal armors. But this right here, favorite weapon, and not that one. Is it this one? Not that one. That one and that one. The kite shields and the targe, the heavy targe. Now, I'll get to these in a second. But you've also got your archery, you've got your slinger, which allows you to throw not only slings, rocks and stuff like that, you can start throwing knives, you can start throwing javelins, a Francesca throwing axe, and then you can eventually throw naphtha pots, which is essentially Greek fire in a pot. That's what that is. Okay? Then we go into the archery section of this, which means you can start unlocking the ability to use crossbows and bows. You can see the different types that you can use. There's a short bow and a composite bow. Go to level 100, you can start using firework arrows. Not useful. Arbalist, one of my favourite things to pair with the Berserker class. Now, the archery class is all leather and stuff like that. It is essentially just all these different types of weapons. And then you get the berserker class, or the assaulter class, which is a two-hander. So you can use the estoc, you can use the claymore, one of the better weapons in my opinion. Obviously the Zweihander and the Flamberg are going to be the fan favourites for most berserkers. Not played this game in a long time, but I do remember the claymore being very bloody useful. Then you've got the Bardiche, one of my favourite weapons in the game. You've got the Broadaxe, you've got the Maul, and essentially we go to the Berserker now. Now we can get your plate, you can get your shouts as well. These are very unique shouts, which basically tell you right here, targeted enemy gets a great speed increase, but also has a chance to stumble and fall down. Trembling hands, harder to hit with ranged weapons. And then you've obviously got the bottom skills here, so you've got your unit formations, which allows you to formate formation essentially. You've got your wall formation, wedge, circle, and then what you want to do is you want to get to this. You want to get to the move command, because this increases your movement speed to all units who are inside your formation. Equipment maintain, don't have to worry about that. Battle survival, don't have to worry about that. Demolition, that's just the use of trebuchets and such. And especially managed trebuchet. What else can you use? You can also use more effective use of siege weapons. You can shoot cows for fun, yeah. But there you go. Crafting skills, on the other hand, is a wee bit more in depth. So we've got one major skill which manages a lot of them here. So an artisan can also be someone who is a keen builder, a keen terraformer, or crafting jewellery and such. Someone who is good in the works of warfare engineering, bowcraft, and carpentry. And then you've got materials prep, which leads you to armour smithing and forging. Then you get nature's lore. You can see where this is going. Farming, which leads to forestry, which leads to advanced farming, which leads to cooking and brewing. The other route that you can take is herbalism, healing, and alchemy. You can start mixing cocktails. You can make all sorts of cool stuff through this. And then you've got the hunting tree, which is quite self-explanatory. Go from hunting to animal lore to procuration to then warhorse taming and tailoring. So we won't be doing any of that straight away. We need to get our basics down. And the basics down is essentially this right here. Plant fibre, flintstone, and a branch. That's all you need. That's all you need to make a couple of things, a couple of cool things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lock that right there just so we can see the inventory screen on the top left. Now, because I have prior knowledge of this game and I understand how to manipulate the game files, I have essentially made it so I can do things a lot faster. Let me show you. So that normally takes about 10 seconds to do that. I did it in 1 second. Same goes with this. As you can see, it's gathering it a lot faster, and we are collecting it faster as well. So not only are we finding it faster, we're collecting it faster, and it's just benefiting us in the long run essentially. This will speed up my videos. This will speed up the waiting time for these videos, and essentially it stops me feeling bored. So there's that. And if you want to learn how to do that, you're going to have to look back on a lot of videos that I've made for this game. A lot of them, and I don't sound the same either. I can't remember the last time I played this game, but the last time I did play this game roughly was in 2018, 2019, something like that. So quite a few years ago. Quite a few years ago. Right, now that we've got quite a few items right here, I'm holding Alt to kind of mass collect all my stuff right here. So the reason why I need plant fibre and I need, flintstone and branches and stuff like that is to essentially create early game tools, primitive tools that will be used to further my development. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on a tree, we're going to gather, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on that. So that is now my default action. So now I'm going to collect a lot of branches off of this tree, and you can see on the right hand side my stamina bar is going a wee bit mental. You can see that the dark yellow is not moving, but the light yellow is moving. So that is your hard stamina, and that's your soft stamina. You can tell what... Right, so for anybody who doesn't know about hard stamina and soft stamina, watch the soft stamina, right? So it fills up, right? It fills all the way up, but your hard stamina is essentially the stamina that you need to essentially regain your soft stamina. If your hard stamina goes to 0, your soft stamina replenishes very slowly. If your soft HP, which is the light red bar, goes to 0, you bleed out essentially. You collapse. You pass out, right? But if your hard health goes to 0, you die. Okay? There's a lot of things that I'm trying to remember myself here, so if I get anything wrong, I do apologise, but there's not much development left in this game at the moment, so in fact there's no development left in this game, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, I'm going to press F3 here. F3 is your observe mode. This basically tells you the level of the ground. How cool is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the terrain at level 19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten all this area to a level of 19. In order to do that, I require a shovel. I'm going to double click on the branches. I'm just going to go ahead and start crafting myself a whole bunch of tools. Again, this usually takes quite a few minutes, but because I have manipulated the game files, especially the skills, the skills.xml file, I can make these things very quickly. So I'm just going to make all of the tools that I can get my hands on right now, or with what I've got my materials set up for. So all we need now is a primitive shovel. And that's everything. We could make it. We'll make a sling. We'll make a sling. Okay, I'm going to double click on the shovel. I have a shovel. We're going to use the shovel, and what we're going to do is we're going to flatten the ground. Like I said, this usually takes a minute. And whilst standing in this 19 tile, I'm going to flatten the tile here, which is going to raise it up. Right? Flatten that. Raise that up. Flatten that out. Now it's nice and green. Now we can build something on this. You can see how this game operates. I'm not gonna lie to you. I played this game for a very, very long time. A very long time. Like I said, it built my channel. So a lot of this is kind of nostalgia for me. Doing terraforming, especially with a large guild. DVG, the Longfellows, etc. Vanier's Krigsman. If you guys are watching this, hello. I'm back. Well, I'm not back, but I'm just having a little bash at the game, essentially. But this is one of these games that I wish still had development behind it. The guys at Bitbox no longer cover it, really. And I don't think the other guys who run the MMO now want to pick this game up, which is I'm quite happy about. Don't pick this game up, you'll just fucking ruin it. Anyway, let's rattle away at getting some more of this dirt here. So all we're doing is lifting the ground, essentially, and lowering it. That's all we're doing right now. So, working with number 19, we can flatten everything out, and then we can start building the introductory kind of buildings and crafting areas that you want to build in this game. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in playing this game. This, again, I'm just playing this for the sake of playing this. And it's just one of those games that I just have a lot of fun on. Now, you probably noticed from my system log that a lot of things are kind of changing. Like, for example, my strength is now at 30, so I'm going to lock my strength at 30 right there. And my willpower, I'm actually going to crank up, and my constitution I'm going to build as well. They're all critical parts of the game, especially the attributes. The attributes will help you swing your sword harder, hit harder, carry more, that kind of thing. So we've almost got, in fact we've not almost got anything actually, we need to cut down some of these trees, so we're going to cut down, and I'm going to uproot that. I'm going to cut this one down. Again, this usually takes a while to do. The fact that I'm able to do this using the manipulated files Says a lot. A lot of people didn't really take to this game because of the grind. But if you've got a big group, if you've got a decent group of people, you can do quite a considerable amount of things in this game. Albeit it's not got its development behind it anymore. I suppose the modding community of this game still kind of keeping it alive, or trying to. Let's uproot that. Timber. There we go. We can flatten this one down as well. Now, as you can see in my inventory, it's 150 out of 172. You can carry double the amount that you're carrying right now, so your maximum technically is 150. But your true maximum is double that, so it's actually 300 for me. Yes. And occasionally you'll have random events like that happen. Those are literally just random interactions or random things that can happen whilst you play the game. In fact, a lot of random things can happen when you're playing this game. I think you can turn the random occurrence down a wee bit. There we go. We can still take some more of that out of there. Like I said, your maximum truly is 300 if you're at 150. So if that's 150, you just double it, and that's your maximum carry weight. But if you exceed 150, you end up like this. You end up overburdened, essentially. Raising this up. You'll probably tell from the dirt that I'm collecting that I'm getting it in units of 30. There is a way to make it a lot faster. In fact, there's a very quick way of making this faster. What I have to do is I have to split this into 30, right? And I've split it into 15. Right? And then you just stand in the hole and you drop it. And it still raises it. Now, imagine a group of about, what we'll say, about 30 people all doing this at one time. Imagine 30 people doing this at one time, and they're all kind of like, they're just working in unison, essentially. Let's bring that grid back up again. So we've got a 4x4. The 4x4 is actually quite useful, because now what we can do is we can attach our hammer. And what we can do is we can actually build something. So let's build a simple construction. And let's go for residential. Let's go for a tiny plastic or plaster shack. Plastic. Let's align it. Make sure it's fully green. And let's build it. Okay. We have a tiny plaster shack. This is going to be my home. So what we have to do is build a simple construction. So we've got a few things that we need to meet here. So let's put in the plant fiber. We had a few billets sitting right here. 5 billets total. So we need another 10. And we need clay. Now, the reason why I'm settling here is because right beside me, there's a clay deposit. And funnily enough, in that bit of... it's C, isn't it? It's C. C. In that little area right there, there's actually iron ore. So I've not really forgotten anything about this game. Not really. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my axe on my waist. So we've actually filled out all of our slots right now. So what we're going to do is this softwood right here. We're going to saw out a billet. We're going to change that to infinite. Like I said, I'm doing everything very fast. Simple construction. There's 5 more, so we need 5 more billets. So what we could do is we could probably cut down this elm tree right here, because it's kind of in our way. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down and set it to infinite. I'm going to uproot. And we're going to saw out a billet. And that's all we need. There we go. 15 billets. Now we need to get the clay. So the clay actually lifts up in units of 60 instead of 30. You'll see in just a second. See? Because I had the default set to lower ground, it just lowered the ground, it didn't raise anything. Oh, and this little meter right here, this little green meter, that's your food meter. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm actually going to eat my fried salmon. There we go, that's me filled up. Simple construction. Let's put the clay in. And let's step off a wee bit. In fact, let's go around the front. Hit build. You need to hit it a few times because there's quite a few materials to put into this. And then let's claim this. Claim as your home. So what I can do now is I can actually teleport back here. I can pray for homecoming, which means I can pray home to this. Pretty nifty, right? Okay. Back to terraforming, unfortunately. So, we're going to flatten the ground. Even more so. And what I might do is, if you guys are wanting another video like this, what I could probably do is have a little tinker around with the stamina costs as well. Because stamina cost in this game is quite high. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to do a downward slope. And that should... There we go. 0.8. What I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to drop the clay here. And then we're going to do a few more bits of digging. Flatten ground. Now, one thing I need to be careful of is the durability on my shovel right now. Because what can happen is it can just break. And it'll just break straight away. Okay, one more unit of dirt over there, and that should flatten that down nicely. I'm actually going to flatten that bit down there as well. That's that nice and flat. That's that nice and flat. Lovely. Okay, we should just place one more on this and it should be nice and flat now. There we go. 18.5. So you do one downward slope, which takes it down by 0.2, and then 0.3. For the folk who like mathematics, you'll probably understand what this calculation means. Cut down. Nobody likes juniper trees or sorry, that's an elm tree. I thought that was a juniper tree. There are a variety of different trees in this game as well. You've probably seen the elm, you've probably seen the oaks, you've probably seen the pines over there and the spruce. Now, this also plays into the types of wood that you have to use in the game. So, for handles like that, for handles for like tools and stuff like that, you need a softwood handle, so you need softwood. You need to cut down a spruce and a pine or something like that. What we'll do is we'll cut down this one right here, this elm tree. It's hardwood. When I uproot this, it'll say hardwood. The other thing as well in this game is essentially when it comes to making fuel sources, you'll start off with just like billets and stuff like that, but eventually you'll start, branching into charcoal, which you can make. There we go. Flatten that out. It seems a little bit silly looking. Seems a little silly looking, but trust me, this to me is a lot of fun. And what I might do is, let me just check my skills right now. So I can dig. So what I want to do is I want to get this to level 30. In fact, I want to get this to level 60 actually. I want to get construction to 60 because if I can get that to 60, I can start making a road. I can start crafting roads. Oh no, I can already do it. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. Okay. So like I said, these are the first kind of like crafting stations you want to go for. So we're going to do a simple construction. We're going to go for a. We're not doing a cauldron right now. We'll do a furnace. We'll do another furnace. And we will do a kiln, which we can't get right now because we've not got the skills for it, which is fine. But eventually we'll be making a forge and anvil, and then we'll go to. We might even go as far as getting like a little wooden house or a small plaster house. For now, this is what we need to try and get our hands on. So we need 2 lifts of clay. We need a whole bunch of plant fiber and some water. So let's get the let's get this first. Let's get the clay first. Oh, our shovel has met its end. Back up we go. We will need to get. We'll actually need to get some flint right now. So what we'll do is we won't search for it up here. What we're going to do is we're going to go down towards the shoreline, down towards the sand. In fact, there's some fibre right there, and there's some flint right there that we forgot to pick up. There's more fibre, more flint. We will need a lot of fibre, so we will have to do quite a wee bit of this right now. Okay, looking at the ground, we're going to look for materials. And there's some fibre. And we need to get all the flint. All the flint we can get our hands on. In fact, you can see that in the background right there. Can you see him? There's an animal over there, over by my cursor, my little white dot in the middle of the screen. There's an animal over there. We could go over and sling it to death. That would build our archery skill. And building that skill is quite important if you want to become an archer. And all your attributes all play a part in your combat, by the way. So, if you want to be like a berserker, you want to have high constitution, high strength. You basically want to deal damage and, you know, take a little bit of damage as well. Pair that with the right armor types, and yeah, you're going to be a walking tank. An absolute beast. Now, I don't know if they're still available. I don't know if they've still set them to being available, but I believe there are still skins in this game. And I know everyone's probably saying, skins in a dead game? I know. But they look cool. Trust me, they really do look cool. They really do. They really look cool. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you how many I've got. Bear in mind, I was a major content creator for this game at one point. And, yeah. I might have got a few. One thing that I've always missed in this game is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack for this game. I can leave that soundtrack playing all day. Love it. Love it to bits. Right, next thing we need to do is get a whole bunch of water. We need 50 water total. So we just have to sit here and collect this 50 times. But funnily enough, if you look at my system log, we're actually raising our constitution. We're actually raising our health pool right now. It's up at level 17 now. Unfortunately, this is just the way that it goes for collecting water in this game. There is no fast way of collecting water unless you set this to like 0.5 seconds. This is just how fast it has to go through with all the collection side of the game. There's a few things that I've not changed in terms of the timing. I've not changed the timing for a few other later on skills. But what I might do as well is I might actually jump into the SQL server for this, or the database for this game, especially for the local server, and change a few of the outputs. So what you can do is you can actually change the amount of things per action. So what I used to do is I used to change the rate of metal bars, metal ingots, and lumps of metal. I used to change them. I used to double the amount that you used to get. So see, for every 1 bar, you would get 2 or 3. For every ingot, you would get 2 ingots. For every, I believe it's 5 lumps, you would get 10. And that would make playing this game a breeze. A lot of people would enjoy that, and it's a server-side thing, so it would actually, they wouldn't have to do anything to their game in order for that to actually happen. And sometimes I would set like, sometimes I would set the whatchamacallit, the flint. So every time you gathered a flint, you would get 5 back, or if you gathered a branch, you'd get 2 per search, or like 3 per search. The plant fiber, I used to boost that by like 25%. So usually you'll find between 3 and 7, or 1 and 7 plant fiber. Sometimes you could find 14 on some of my old servers. I used to run servers for this game. They were, and I'm not gonna lie, very successful. Lots of PvP engagements, lots of judgment hours, lots of really cool videos of judgment hours. Judgment hours essentially a raiding time. I think the other thing I might make here is a, I'm gonna set up a camp here. I'm going to do, what am I want to do? I want to create a camp. I want to make a campfire. No, I don't want to inspect it. I want to create the camp. I want to put the sticks in there. And there we go. We've got a campfire now. Campfire we use to cook things. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Right, now the real question is, can we get that kiln going now? I want to build a simple construction. I want to go to crafting. I want a kiln. And we can. I want to rotate that. It doesn't matter which way this faces. I'm just pedantic. I just like it to be facing me, essentially. Okay, we need to go gather more water as well. We need more plant fiber too. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. What we'll do is we'll get the plant fiber first, and then we'll go get the water, and then we'll get the clay. And the reason why I'm going down here to search for all this stuff is because this is all flat, and there's no like additional foliage clouding all the materials that might be on the screen right now. So you can see how easily they stick out right now. But if I was to do it up on the forest soil, this is fertile soil I'm standing on right now. And obviously that's sand. But if you do it on forest soil, you may find that you'll be struggling to find things because they're camouflaged into the terrain. Now, another thing as well, this map's very simplistic. It's a very simple map. It is the map that was brought out for Life is Feudal Your Own a long time ago. It's not changed. But there are ways to actually make your own map, and I used to make my own maps. And I used to deploy custom maps as well for my servers that I used to run a long time ago. That was actually through Blue Fang Solutions, which are still going as well. They still actually host Life is Feudal servers as well, which is kind of crazy. But what I would do is I would change the map. So this is the map. This is the map. This is the entire map. This entire island plus this little penis thing over here. Iconic locations to kind of build your bases where, like in this area right here, there's an iron mine right here, but it's not very close to clay. Another iconic location's over here, or over in this area. That essentially between this part and between this part right here was usually quite good. People would build up on this mountain right here. Some people would build up on this mountain here. Another location on this mountain here, on this mountain, down here in this big peninsula down here. This used to be a really popular location in this little bit right here. These are all open spaces for people to kind of build on. This used to be like the iconic location for like server event zones and stuff like that. So there's a... the nostalgia is actually colliding with my brain right now, which is kind of crazy just how many things I actually remember off this game. So the next thing that we need to do is start thinking about opening up the mine. As soon as we open up the mine, we can start gathering the ore, and we'll then need to cut down a few hardwood trees, saw out a couple of hardwood billets, and essentially start making ourselves the materials that we need for a forge and anvil, which will grant us much better tools. It'll start granting us metal tools. I've not addressed any of the quality in this game. This game is driven by quality. So if you have specific quality items, they will last so long. For example, this is a quality 37 knife, a 32 pickaxe, a 42 fishing pole. All of this, all these bits of plant fibre are essentially melded together to make a median quality of 26. If I simply just left them, if I essentially went out and just collected all the plant fibre and sorted them by bundle and quality, you'd probably find that the quality range is very, very, very varied. In fact, it's incredibly varied. Now that I say it, we've almost got the materials for all the kiln stuff. There we go. We've got the 40 war, now we need to get the clay. And I've still got plenty of room to get that. Lower the ground. I could get one more out of that. 180 clay. Perfect. Now we just have to run up here and get this going. As I said, when you're overburdened, this is how fast you move. It's just the way it is. And usually, if you're running like this, you get caught up very quickly by players. I forgot that Life is Feudal Your Own does not have scaling or climbing. Life is Feudal MMO does have that. You can scale things. This game, unfortunately, does not. Okay, we need to get a little bit more clay. We need to get 70 more clay. And that should be us. We should have our kiln ready to go. Right, let's lower the ground level twice here. There we go. Drop this. There's our 70. And... no, don't inspect it, you tube. Build it. Let's build it up. 3 hits, I think. 3 hits total. 4 hits total? 4 hits total. There we go. Now, we can only inspect this right now because if we look at our skills right now, materials prep is very low. What we need to do is we need to shape some stones to get some skills into this, at which point we can then use the kiln at level 30. So, let's go at least crack open where the ore is. What we're going to do is we're going to use the pickaxe. And what I'll do as well is I might take off the saw as well. There's no point having the saw and stuff like that on. There we go. We run over here. The other good thing is we'll be able to make ourselves a cooking pot now. Alright, the iron should be... There's no way of actually telling by visual if there's iron here. I just know that there's iron here. So we're going to dig a tunnel forwards. Now, the other good thing is, I can do this now. I put my my hammer on, I can build a stone road. It changes the texture on the surface. And creating a road, by the way, actually benefits you. It does benefit you to build roads in this game. There we go. That's the mine shaft started. And now, I'm going to make a few more stone roads. You'll have noticed that the stone road doesn't take completely, it actually slides down like that. There's a reason for that. There's a good reason for that. If I press F3, you can see how steep it is. If it's too steep, it will roll down the hill. Okay, we've got construction to level 44, which means we can start making simple wooden objects, which is really, really good. Digging tunnels forwards, that's good. It's almost at level 30, which is really good too. Right, let's dig it downwards. There we go. And what we'll do now is we'll just drop this. See how it's fallen like that? Right. Dig a tunnel. Forwards. So because we're mining this tile specifically, we're getting both dirt and stone. Dirt and stone. Like I said, everything's essentially sped up for my own sake and for your sake, especially watching this video. So this should go bye-bye in a second. There we go. Perfect. Now there is ways to reinforce your mine, especially if you've got one that's properly underground. Oh, there we go. Look for mine for iron. Look for copper deposits. Look for iron deposits. This is good. But we first need to get this to level 60. We need to get this to level 60. It's important that we do that. So I'm going to dig this forwards. Checking the quality of the rock is level 10 or quality 10. And that right there is iron. That right there is iron. Remember I told you I know where the iron is? I told you I knew where it was. I still remember these things. After so long, I remember everything. It's hard to forget. This is one of my favourite games ever. Like, my friends will probably tell everybody if they watch this video, like, honestly, I would spend hours playing this game. Hours. Stupid amounts of time playing this game. And the fact that I still remember everything's absolutely uncanny. It's like I've never disappeared from the game at all. Right, what we want to do is we want to dig a tunnel forwards here. We want to expose all of this iron. And we need digging to get up to level 60, which is at level 55 right now. There we go. 200. 250 stone total. All whilst we build stone roads over here just to level up our construction. Construction's up at level 51, which is really good. Now, the reason why I say we need it to level 60, we need it to level 30 and such, level 30 essentially unlocks your abilities. The kind of the key abilities for most skills. Level 60 allows you to level beyond level 30 in the next skill. So, in order for me to get to level 60 in carpentry or construction or digging or materials prep, I need to get this to level 60. At level 30, it's only allowing me to do the basic stuff. At level 60, it allows me to get these beyond 60. At level 30, these unlock, but they'll be locked at level 29, essentially, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I'll need to sit down and rest in a second here. There we go, level 60 for our digging. And with this amount, we should have our construction up to level 60 as well. Yeah, you can see my stamina, it's not replenishing as fast as it was before. Get that placed. Get that placed. And we'll just drop that. There we go. So if we look at our skills now, we've got 60 construction, 60 digging, we need to get our carpentry up a wee bit, and we need our materials prep going up a wee bit as well. So what I'll do is I'll feed myself a good wee bit. Filling your food bar is a good thing to do. There's also skill food. There's filling your stomach food, and there's also skill food. Skill food allows you to level up a lot faster than what you think you can. I'm just gonna have a wee sit here, and you'll notice that my hard stamina, the dark yellow, the almost gold bar, is starting to climb now. There you go, it's up at 20. We started at 17, now we're at 20. We've already went up a considerable amount in just a short space of time. So you want to do this a lot. And the other thing as well, there are preparations, as in herbal preparations, that you can consume. You can take them and it'll increase your... I don't think it increases your hard stamina. I think it moderates your hard stamina, not to drop as fast as it would be normally. So we've got a huge stamina pool of 124. And you can also see that my food bar is actually dropping really fast too. So I'm using the food to replenish my stamina. So eventually I will need to eat again. As soon as I stand back up again, I will need to eat again. But I'm only going to get this to like level 50 or something like that. Get it back to level 50 so I can replenish my soft stamina a little bit faster than normal. And then we'll get back to the whole crafting stuff. So far, we have opened up a mine. We've got iron ore. We've got our construction skill up to level 60. We've got our digging skill up to level 60. We have our nature's lore up to level 78, which is really, really good. I'd like to get it to level 90 because then I can locate pristine herbs for the next part, which is actually going to be quite difficult for me because it's it's a lot of work. Mining will come naturally, not a problem. As soon as we start mining the iron ore, this will shoot up. The level for these will shoot straight up. At which point we can then take that iron and deposit it back at the base, close to the furnaces, and then we can cut down a couple of hardwood trees, take the hardwood billets, put them into the kiln, and start making ourselves some... I'd like to get up, please. We'd like to make some charcoal now. But before we do that, let's dig a forward. And what I want to do is I want to right click on this and I want to shape stones. And I want to shape that rock. I want to mass produce that. Materials preparation is now up at level 15, level 20. I've just realised I've totally forgot something. I have forgotten something. we need to build a monument. The monument is what is going to basically take care of the maintenance of the area, essentially, and it'll allow the decay rate to stop. So I'll need to think about that. I'll need to get some stuff made for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some of this stuff right here, and we're going to make a mortar and pestle. I'm going to make 2 of them. I'm going to make a primitive cooking pot as well. Cool. Perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. And our materials preparation is level 55. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a few more shaped stone. There we go. Press P because that's where my pickaxe is. Shaped granite, shaped rock. Level 60. There we go. Banging. Okay. I think we can definitely make a... We could definitely make a monument now. But we'll need to do a little bit of herbal stuff. Which is the... It's not the difficult part, but it's time consuming. It's a very time consuming portion of the game. So what I'll do is on that little green bit right there... Oh, before I do that actually, I need to make myself a master artist. I need to create a guild. Mr. Create the guild. I am the guild member. Now, obviously, there's no other player here, but in order for me to build a monument, I need to be in that. So we'll get the monument placed down first. We'll get the blueprint placed, and then we'll go back over, get that shaped rock. What do we need? So we need bones, which is going to be us going out and killing things. So we need hardwood billets, we need shaped rock. So let's go get the shaped rock. We've definitely got that. So we built a home, we built our furnaces, 2 furnaces. We built a kiln, and now we're building a monument. Realistically, you want to go for the monument first. Only reason I say that is because it's essentially going to keep all your stuff all sorted. Level 11, level 34. I'll take those 5. Now, quality doesn't matter here. On the monument, at least. Later on, it might matter for your buildings, for the overall health pool, especially your walls. Just chuck that in there. Get that all built up, or at least placed into the monument itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a platform of 19, a platform of 18.5, and then a platform of maybe 17. So I'm going to drop even lower here. Is that hardwood? That is hardwood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some charcoal now. Saw out a billet. I believe I can put a maximum of... What's the maximum I can put in here? Oh, 12? Okay. We could probably put more in there. I'll put 20 in there. There we go. Perfect. Quality 1, quality 4. So if I hit it one more time, it should... There you go, 1,500. We'll just leave it cooking right there. Yeah, we'll just leave it cooking right there. So that is currently making that's currently making charcoal right now. So we'd have to wait for the billets to obviously heat up. There we go. Force it a little bit. If you force it, you do cook some of the stuff, but it's fine. You'll still pull out a lot of charcoal as it is. Now, kilns are just what you use in the game, but you will eventually get better furnaces. You'll actually get advanced furnaces. There we go. A little bit more heat. A little bit more heat. Let's go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly gather a few more apples, and then I'm going to go down and do some herbal stuff. So this tree looks pretty good. Let's just inspect this tree. 94. A 94 apple tree. What we can do is we can probably pinch the saplings off of this when we get to a high enough level. And then... and then we can get ourselves a whole grouping of apple trees. Which is pretty damn nifty, if you ask me. Okay, now we need a sickle. Because this part is where this is where things are going to get a little bit messy. Look for herbs. So, as you can see from my inventory, you can see how messy this is going to get. So I'm starting the process of getting herbs. Now, herbs are good. They can create preparations. They can create tonics, or at least, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not tonics, naphtha. They can create naphtha, which is essentially just fire in a pot. But they're also used for a thing called flux. You add flux to iron and you get steel. Obviously, that's not 100% true, at least I don't think. I'm not briefed up on my metallurgy, but you add flux to the metal in this game and it creates steel, specifically iron. Like I said, look at how messy my inventory is right now. And this is honestly the way that we played the game. This is how we play the game for herbalism. He doesn't even get to swing the sickle before he does anything. Alright, let's collect all of these and then we'll go back up and check our charcoal. Now, some servers used to run a thing where each individual player would only have enough skill points to master 2 main skills. So you'd have to have like a group of like between 6 and 9 people in a group to like fully complement the entire like skill, the entire like kind of crafting tree. And you'd also have to have them like... Oh, we're almost there. Let's see if we can give it a wee nudge. We're really close. We're going to get some charcoal. Now, this is the difficult part, right? So, that's not done anything. So what I need to do is I need to organise this a wee bit. Oh boy. quickly hold Alt and left click on these, which will stack doubles and triples. Let's see if we get an effect out of this. We got no effect out of that one. No effect out of that one. It's all guesswork at this point. All of this is guesswork. There we go. Raises agility. So that's a good one. And we need 40 of those for this monument. Let's hit that. Let's see if we get... Yep, there we go. Loads of charcoal. Mass produce. And if we open up our inventory, we have 52 charcoal. And we'll just kill that. So now that we've got charcoal, now we need to get a crucible on stick. Because what we'll need to do is we'll need to put the iron into this. And then we'll need to get a mold for an anvil. And that'll be us on our way to getting a forge and anvil. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be today's video on Life is Feudal. This is my nostalgia run through this game. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a thumbs up on this video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you ever played this game, I used to play this game a long time ago. It built my channel, so I know exactly what I'm doing. But does it look interesting? If it does, let me know in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, if this game interests you as well, and you want to see more videos, consider subscribing, ring the little bell, you stay up to date with videos just like this, as well as a Sunday night live stream which starts between 6 and 7 PM UK. We go for about 3-4 hours playing the likes of Scum and a variety of survival games, so if that's your jam, I'd love to see you there. Anyway folks, thank you very much for watching this nostalgia run on Life is Feudal. I will be back with another few episodes until we get to steal stuff, and maybe even bigger and better constructions, who knows? Anyway, thank you very much for watching today ladies and gentlemen. As always, I've been Mr. Feudal. I'll see you all another time.